Guilty here, and welcome to my review of my most anticipated figure of 2022, Legacy Commander Class Motormaster. Yes, yet another year where the Commander Class was by far and beyond my most anticipated figure of the year. And yes, we are starting in vehicle mode, which is not something that I usually do. However, this figure is packed in vehicle mode. So yes, in the future, since we are now getting Transformers that are packed in vehicle mode, I will be reviewing them in whichever mode that they come in originally. So that is how I will be reviewing my my Transformers from now on. And okay, guys, Motormaster here. This guy, I was ridiculously stoked for this figure, like absolutely ridiculously. This thing was revealed, and the second it went up for pre-order, I pre-ordered it. Got it a couple days ago, and I really, this thing is like, to call this toy anything less than absolutely glorious. I think this might be the best Transformer toy of the past 3 years. I am absolutely blown away by this figure. I'm just gonna tell you straight up front. And I'm also gonna tell you straight up front that it is for so many different reasons that I was expecting it to be. I was expecting to get this guy, play with him a little bit, stick him in combined mode, and that was gonna be his life for the remainder of his time on planet Earth. I genuinely think the combined mode is the thing I have utilized the least when it comes to this figure. This Motormaster toy is absolutely phenomenal. I am going to go into that in depth because I love this Motormaster toy by itself, even without the trailer. And the trailer is also extremely cool. So without further ado, let's jump in to this review. We're going to start off by talking about the Motormaster toy itself. This is essentially a Voyager or Leader class Motormaster figure, and this thing is freaking awesome. Like, this thing is an absolutely amazing figure, and let's get into it. So here is the truck mode for Motormaster, a character and a truck that I have always really liked. I remember, and straight up, I love this truck mode for all of the features and things that this toy is trying to do, being a Motormaster that can transform to and from its alt mode and then combine into a almost perfect looking Menasor. Oh my goodness gracious. Like I said, calling this toy anything less than glorious would be like the understatement of the century, man. This thing is like, this is like a miracle of a Transformer. This is a Transformer that will go down in history, that is able to achieve so many things and do them so much better than basically anything else did in the past. This Motormaster is absolutely phenomenal, and this truck mode is amazing. Look at this truck mode. Absolutely beautiful. Maybe a little bit lacking in the paint compared to some other trucks, and we will definitely take a look at that in the comparisons, but you have the Decepticon logo right there. The big purple drums right there, nice silver picked out. All of the wheels, every single wheel is pinned on. You have pinned wheels, every single one. These ones, it's very important that these were pinned on because I'm going to spoil one thing. I will say, straight up front, this guy does have a few issues that I am going to get into. So I will say that this whole figure as a set does have a few issues, though it's not just going to be all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to this review. And one of the issues I will point out is that these wheels up here are ridiculously tight. When you transform into robot mode, you have to flip these wheels in, and to get them back out, it is not a pleasant experience at all because these things go in so tightly and there's absolutely no clearance to get in there. And the best way I found to do it is to just kind of push on this side and get your fingernail underneath that wheel, and I literally just separated the entire section of that. Yeah, really obnoxious little thing right there. I really dislike that. That is just one little thing that is just one tiny little issue with this, because that's like one of the main things about this transformation that I did not like whatsoever, is getting those wheels out. But getting back into the truck, you can see that it does actually have an accurate frame to real world trucks, which looks really cool. And then you have the trailer hitch down there, and even the bottom looks really good, honestly. Now, you do have his head sticking up right there. I'm sure you could probably rotate it around if you really wanted it to hide, but I don't really care. That's how it came, and I barely noticed it. You can see like the shadows pretty much completely take it away. Like you look at it from here, and you can barely even notice that the head is showing back there. And then you do also have the whole chest, but it doesn't look too bad, honestly. And yeah, I think the truck mode is really good. I love the purple on the windows right there. And then getting into the trailer, because of course the trailer for the truck, this plugs in just like any other trailer. It actually plugs in a lot more securely than some other trailers I've seen. You can see he does take a little bit for him to come out of there. And I love this combined truck mode with the trailer. I think this looks absolutely phenomenal. You have the stripe right there, the Decepticon logo. Admittedly, you do have this kind of breakup in the stripe right there. And I will also say, right here, I have some paint scuffs right here. You can see all that kind of paint scuffs right there, which is a little bit unfortunate. There's the top, very smooth and fun. One thing I will say about this thing is kind of an optical illusion, is it kind of looks like it's like trying to like blow itself out when you look at it, but that's just because of this right here. It is actually pretty much perfectly flat. So it just looks like it's like a bubble shape right there, but it's actually just because of these pieces kind of creating like an optical illusion, making you think that when it is in fact basically just like a big rectangle. And it's also absurdly heavy. This thing is like this thing weighs like literally a brick. Like go outside and pick up a brick, and that's basically what you're going to be looking at with the weight with this thing. This thing is absolutely massive, and you plug it in back there and it looks phenomenal. And it does roll incredibly well as well. All of these wheels, since they are all pinned on, even these ones in the back of the trailer here, they roll like an absolute dream. This figure is so much fun in this truck mode. I really, really love it. I genuinely was not expecting to care too much for the truck mode of this thing, but honestly, I think I might like the truck mode. Like, the truck mode might actually be like one of my favorite things about this figure. We've already established this year that apparently DK Guillotine is a huge fan of truck transformers. So yeah, did not realize that, but I really do love truck transformers apparently, because like all of my favorite transformer figures of this year so far are trucks. So that is pretty much everything to go over with the truck mode for Motormaster. Now, one thing I do need to say is that for the trailer, you do have a little thing right here. Now, this was actually a little bit difficult to flip down right out of the packaging. I think it was a lot more tighter. Now that it's really been broken in and I've played with this thing a ton, it's really easy to get this thing out. So just be persistent with it and it will eventually come out, and this will allow you to stick the trailer down just like that. And one other thing that I really want to show with this trailer is that you can actually utilize this for another feature as well. So right here is my Decepticon shelf, and one thing I found that you can do with this trailer, if you want to keep Motormaster out and not be in the combined mode, you can take the trailer and sneak it back here on your shelf, just like that, and then the support beam is good enough to where you can actually use this as somewhat of an acrylic riser. I actually have some acrylic risers right here, these things right here. These are wonderful for your collection. You can see my anime figure shelf right here. I utilize these things to get a really nice looking dynamic little display right there. And you can somewhat use that trailer for Menasor to get a bit of a riser back there. And it holds up. The stand actually is able to withstand the weight of having some boys on top of that. So yeah, I really love that. I hope that was intentional because it works phenomenally. And then I can just stick Motormaster right there in robot mode, obviously. But yeah, this is actually how I've been displaying him for the last couple days I've had him. I've had him in robot mode right here, and I've had that like that with the trailer back there as like a little stand for you to put things on. So I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, I think that's a really wonderful little feature of this figure. I'm sure it probably wasn't intentional, but I like to think that that was a really cool little thing that they thought about as well, that you could use this to actually put some more dynamicness to your Decepticon display. So very, very cool. The final thing to go over before we get into the first transformation is that you do get a sword with this Motormaster. Now I'm going to spoil right up front, this sword is mainly for Motormaster. It actually works phenomenally for Motormaster. It works like absolute shit for Menasor. So we'll talk about that more when we show off the Menasor combined mode towards the end of the video, but this sword is really meant for Motormaster. However, you can store this sword by taking the trailer here and you can split the trailer apart, which is just going to give you a bit of a peek of how much fun this thing is, and we will talk about that in depth in this video. But you can take this and you can either, if you want to, you can just kind of stick it back there just like that, and then you can plug this back in there. However, I don't like this way because this just makes it rattle around in there, and there's a much better way to go about it where you can take the sword and you have this little bit right there where you can plug this port right there into the sword and then take that, work that into that hole, and now you have a completely no rattle around thing right there. So that's how you should display the sword right there. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to some comparisons in Motormaster's truck mode. Alrighty, and for comparison with Motormaster, just like always with these type of guys, we're going to do two sets of comparisons, one set without the trailer, and one set with the trailer attached. So here we go. So first off, here he is with the Earthrise Optimus Prime. You can see very similar truck design, but he is a little bit bigger. And here he is with Studio Series Galvatron, just like, once again, a little bit bigger at the truck here, but you can see the size of these guys is all pretty darn consistent overall. You can see you basically have this. These guys are a little bit longer than Galvatron, and actually Motormaster is pretty much bigger in just about like every way, a little bit bigger and a little bit that way, but there you have that. Here is the Siege Optimus Prime, which is the Nemesis Prime for me. So you can see how that one looks. Once again, he's really just like a lot bigger than your standard ones of these. So yeah, very, very cool right there. And then here he is with the Legacy Laser Optimus Prime right there. And obviously this one's a lot longer because it's a completely different truck. Have that, but he's still quite large. And one more of these kind of trucks, you have the Ultra Magnus right here. Now this is just the unassembled one, but we'll bring the trailer in just a second. But there you have that right there. He's a little bit hard to film because of how black he is. Just kind of blends in. So yeah, there you have that. And here he is with Legacy Bulkhead
right there. Here he is with the Commander class Rodimus Prime, our previous Commander class right there. Very, very, very cool. And we'll bring him back in. We get the trailer in here as well. And the final comparison for this set, here he is with Dragstrip right there, so you can see how he looks with them. And yeah, he looks very, very good. I think it's going to be a really, really amazing team when we get them all. Obviously, right now we only have 2. Well, I think most people probably have Wild Rider, but I haven't been able to find him yet. But yeah, very cool so far. Although probably not in scale. I'm pretty sure this car should probably be a lot smaller than it is here. But still really cool, and I love the size of Dragstrip, so I have no problem with it. All right, now bringing in the trailer and attaching it to Motormaster. We are now going to do a whole other set of comparisons with the trailer attached. Alrighty, and first up with Earthrise Optimus Prime, you can see once again they are basically, the trailer is actually pretty much the same size, maybe a little bit bigger right here for Motormaster, but there you have them together right there, and we'll move them out. This guy definitely locks on his trailer a lot more than Optimus Prime. This one kind of comes out. This one actually, you can like pick him up, and that feels really, really good. Just adding more of the quality feel you get with this Commander class over a Leader class. And here is the Nemesis Prime with this trailer. There you go. Once again, obviously it's about the same size because it's pretty much the same size as the Earthrise one, but there you go. Once again, feels a lot heavier though than this thing. This thing's very cheap. This thing feels like a friggin' brick. And here is Ultra Magnus, right there. Very large truck boys, man. Oh boy, there you go. Looking fantastic together. This, very cumbersome comparisons here, but yeah, you can see that they actually are basically about the same size, like completely. Their length is literally like pretty much exactly the same. And there's one more final shot with that comparison. And then here is Laser Optimus Prime with his trailer. Right there, one of my personal favorites of this bunch. So there you have that, and he's definitely a lot smaller because of the trailer kind of being trying to go for a bit of a different thing right here on that one. So yeah, they have that, but still looking fantastic together. And here is Rodimus. Right there, Rodimus is quite a bit bigger than him, making up for the Commander class in some ways compared to this guy. But yeah, that his trailer is also quite a bit larger than him as well. You can see it does come forward quite a bit more. So yeah, very nice. These two are absolutely wonderful. These are actually probably my 2 favorite Commander classes so far, if I'm being honest. I much prefer this kind of approach to the Commander class. Don't get me wrong, Skylinks and Jetfire are great. We're about to bring them in for the comparison as well. But this is definitely how I like these Commander classes. I love how high quality these guys feel. They just feel really great, and I really hope going forward that they have more guys like this in store because I just think they're really freaking awesome. Basically just like micro masterpieces in like the purest form of micro masterpiece. And I will go ahead and once again bring in Studio Series Galvatron real quick just because I have them here, and Legacy Bulkhead, and we'll also bring in Dragstrip right here. So you have that. And I'm going to bring in a few more unorthodox boys for this. So here is the Siege, what is this guy called? I forget. The Cybertron Optimus Prime, but I forget. The Galaxy Upgrade, that's what it's called. The Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. So you can see how he looks with that. Very cool. Love this truck mode, man. This is my favorite mode of this figure right here, man. So cool. And then the last one we're gonna do before we get into the Commander classes is with Studio Series Overload, because I don't know, I got the upgrade one out so I can compare him with it, and I saw he was in, and I saw him in there too, and I was like, yeah, why not? We'll compare him as well because they kind of have a similar thing going on there, similar vibe going on there as well. So yeah, they have that. And last but not least, here he is with the Commander class Skylinks right there, and with Commander class Jetfire. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to get him fully in the frame here. He is a very, very, very big boy. So yeah, there you have that as well. I definitely think that Motormaster more than makes up for the Commander class price point. I would say even more than Rodimus, even though I think Rodimus is absolutely glorious and one of my favorite Commander classes. I do think Motormaster makes up for the price a little bit more. And I think I would actually say that so far, Motormaster is probably my favorite Commander class so far, because while I absolutely love Rodimus, there is just so much going on with this figure. He does so many more things than Rodimus. Rodimus is just a really amazing Rodimus figure. This guy is an amazing Motormaster, an amazing Menasor, and he's awesome truck as well. Like, this thing is just really, really freaking awesome.
And we will get into the transformation. Now, I'm going to say this right up front. This transformation is not what I would consider fun. I would put this transformation in the same tier as Studio Series 86 Slag. Is it a transformation that I would dread doing? No, it's not a painful transformation like something like Studio Series Dropkick from the Bumblebee movie or something like that. It's not one of those transformations, or Earthrise RC. It's not one that I would absolutely dread doing. It's not painful. But it just doesn't have anything. There's nothing about this transformation that I would call fun as well, just like Studio Series 86 Slag. Now, I know that there are some people who like Studio Series 86 Slag's transformation and genuinely do think it's fun. I am not one of those people. For me, that transformation's always just been a way to get from point A to point B and nothing more. No real fun factor in that transformation. And I would put this in the same tier as that. There's quite a few things about this that is just, there's nothing about this transformation that really wows you or is really all that satisfying or fun to do. And in the end, it really is just a way to get from point A to point B. But it does so pretty well. It's not, like I said, it's not a terrible transformation. It's just not one I would want to do over and over and over again. So without further ado, here is the transformation.
Okay, this transformation sequence is going to be a little hard to film because he is so difficult to see, but hopefully this will work right. So we're going to pop these pieces up, bring them forward, and fold them down just like that. And then we want to get in here with a fingernail, pop this little roof piece out, bring it forward, and then you have a tab right there. That's just going to go into a slot right there. And then the same thing on this side. So pop this piece up, bring it forward, and tab that into right there. And then you're going to untab these sections from the side here, and then you can bring this piece forward, and then you want to just make sure that these knee pieces are clipped forward just like that. And then you can bring these pieces down just like that. And then we can split the legs. And we want to take the legs as a very important piece of the transformation, because if you don't do this, the robot is going to be really jingly jangly, not fun to play with. You have to bring the legs up, bring them back, rotate them around, and then bring them back down. The reason you want to do this is to have the legs oriented properly. You don't want to have them looking like this where you have the pin showing through. You want to have them looking looking like this because this is how it is probably made. Because if you have it like this leg is super weird. It's not fun at all to play with. It doesn't stand up very well. You have to bring it back, rotate this around, bring that forward, and do that just so you have that. Now you want to come down to the feet here. You want to fold these down, rotate them around, flip that wheel in, and bring that back up. Come to the leg here, rotate this panel in, we'll tab in, fold it down, and then you have a tab right there that slot is going to go into right there. And that's one leg all done. Same thing on the other side. You want to fold the wheel in, rotate this around. Doesn't really matter what order of operations you do this in as long as it gets done. It's pretty darn straightforward. And now for the arms. I want to say something about the arms real quick. These tab in so securely. And the first time you transform this thing and try and untap these things, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. It took me forever to untap these the first time because they lock in so securely. Now that I've done it so many times, I've transformed this guy so many times, they actually don't, it's not too difficult to get them out. They kind of pop out a lot easier. But the first time I did this, oh my lord, I needed a freaking crowbar to get these things out. So just want to say that because you can hear when you tab these things in, it tabs in super securely. And the first time it was like impossible. You can hear, give it a nice, you can hear just how hard that clicks in right there. You really have to struggle to get these out on the first time. But you bring that out, fold that down, and it tabs in place just like that. Same thing on this side. This one's a lot easier for me. So there we go. Pop that one out, tab that in right there. And then you want to take this whole piece, this is going to flip up, and then you want to flip this over his head just like that. And you have a tab right there that is just going to slide into right there into the backpack. Lastly, you just want to open up these arm panels, flip out the hands, and close them back up on both sides. And there you have Motormaster in his absolutely beautiful looking robot mode. And doesn't he just look absolutely splendid?
So there you have the transformation. Like I said, I wouldn't call the transformation bad or unfun, just not particularly fun. Not when I want to relive over and over again, like something like, what's a good example? Galvatron, Studio Series 86, Studio Series Galvatron, Ratchet right there, Legacy Laser Optimus Prime, probably my favorite transformation of 2022 so far at least. Yeah, just not one of those transformations, but still, you know, it's a way to get from point A to point B, and it's pretty decent. But here is the result, and good lord, I mean, look at this thing. This is such a beautiful rendition of Motormaster from the G1 cartoon, a character that I was always very fond of. Really love the way this came out. Now, admittedly, he does have some really chunk-tastic legs here, and sometimes I do, and like, I've made a big deal about that in the past. Like, it was my main problem with the Studio Series 07 movie Megatron, but here, I actually don't notice it that much. It just feels like he's got some massive clobbers. Now, one thing I will say about this guy is he has a bit of a standing problem. You can see, if you give him a good shake, it's because he doesn't have any heels. He actually really doesn't have any heels. Now, technically, there is a little bit going behind the leg here, a little tiny bit of plastic, but it's really not enough to keep him sustained up like that. And if you don't do that step of the transformation where you fold his legs around and you have these pins showing instead of the black piece right there, which admittedly you have to, because you have to have it in that orientation where the pins are showing for any other aspect of this figure besides the robot mode. But if you don't do it like that, the legs are gonna absolutely drive you fucking crazy. They're honestly horrible if you don't flip those legs around. That is an absolute crucial piece of this transformation. So if you got this guy and you hate the way his legs feels, flip his legs around and make sure that pin is facing the back, and I guarantee he'll feel a ton better and he'll stand up a lot better as well. But yeah, I think this looks fantastic, and it is just basically a Voyager class, Voyager scale Motormaster. You can see the a quick little comparison right there between him and Megatron with Starscream. He is basically just a Voyager or leader class Motormaster, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this guy. He also has some absolutely fantastic articulation. You have a swivel right here at the head, 90-degree bend right there. He does have wrist swivel. Thank you, Hasbro, wrist swivel. Always really hate when they don't include wrist swivel on figures, and this guy has it, which is absolutely beautiful. You can also somewhat give him a sword-wielding wrist as well by bringing that piece down and then kind of going along with it, which could go along with the sword, which we'll talk about in just a moment here. The leg articulation is pretty great. You actually can get a good amount of movement right there in the legs, and you do, of course, have some beautiful ankle pivot right there. And I really like this this little piece of the transformation where you have like the you have the actual grill right there, and then you rotate it around to get the foot right there. I think that is such a really cool touch. And it's faux forming, which I know some people are gonna be all faux forming, but I don't give a shit. So yeah, there you have that, and very filled out too. Not really any hollowness in this guy. You can see these pieces are filled out in the back of the legs right here. He does have a door to fill out the arms. Thank you, Hasbro. Please continue doing this. Stop doing the freaking opening and closing doors. They just revealed Studio Series 86 Ironhide, and I think he looks absolutely fucking phenomenal, and I can't believe people are like, oh, he's a Voyager Deluxe. You don't even know what the transformation's like. You don't know what the plastic is gonna feel like. I bet you will get that thing in, I bet you we're gonna get that thing in hand, and it's gonna be like a dream come true. That figure's gonna be so fucking awesome. I cannot wait to get that thing. But yeah, beautiful looking Motormaster, man. I love this. I always love Motormaster's head design. It is just one of the most glorious things ever. It's literally just a fucking box, dude. I love it so much. Such a, just, I don't know, man. This head sculpt just gives me life, man, and I love it so much. That's probably one of the main reasons why I've been mostly keeping him in this robot mode, because I love it. I love this toy as just a Motormaster toy. It's just basically a Legacy Voyager class or Leader class Motormaster. It's pretty fucking glorious. However, there is quite a bit other things to go over with this. Now, in the accessories, of course, we can can open up the trailer and we can pop out the sword, plug that back together, and we have his sword. And like I said, the sword is for Motormaster, not for Menasor, because the sword works absolutely phenomenally for Motormaster. I think the scale here is perfect. I've heard some people say they think it's a bit too big. I disagree. I think he definitely should have a big weapon, and I think this thing is pretty much perfect for him. And you can get him in some sick-ass poses with this. I have been able to get this guy in a lot of really great poses utilizing the sword-wielding wrist. If you want to, you can really have an absolute blast with this guy. He is an extremely, extremely cool figure, and I really love this guy. I'm honestly going to go ahead and say that at the moment, before we've actually completed Menasor, this is actually my favorite mode of this figure. I love this Motormaster vehicle mode, and it's fucking fantastic, man. I've always wanted a figure of this character, and I think this one knocked it out of the park. This is like another one of those Studio Series 86 Scourge moments where, as a kid, I always wanted a Scourge figure from that movie because I always loved his design. Never had one because there was never really a really good one, and now it's the same thing here with Motormaster. There is finally an absolutely exceptional Motormaster that we can afford, unlike, you know, the third-party ones that'll run you like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I really cannot say enough amazing things about this. I love this view of this robot mode. You got a nice Decepticon logo right there as well. Just speaks for itself, man. It's really fucking awesome. And like I said, I've just had him up here like that. And I've had the trailer in the back there. Like I said, his legs are a little bit finicky, but like I said, if you having trouble with them, just mess with them a little bit, and you'll find that he is actually very fun to play with. So there you go. Fits perfectly into your G1 Decepticon shelf. God, I cannot wait to get freaking Blitzwing. But yeah, this guy is just so cool. I absolutely love him. And there you have it. So here's some comparisons.
Alrighty, and for comparison in the robot mode, first off, here he is with Rodimus, our previous commander class, and you can see he is basically about the exact same size as Rodimus. Here he is with Earthrise Optimus Prime. He's actually a bit taller than Earthrise Optimus Prime. You can see why I said he is a leader. Well, actually, he's not really taller. He just kind of gives a bit more, he just kind of gives the vibe that he is a bit more mass. You can see the legs are a lot chunkier, and just overall, he just feels a lot chunkier. And he actually even feels maybe even a little bit heavier than Optimus Prime. That might just be, I don't know, that might just be like new toy feel or something like that, but I don't know. It might feel like a little bit heavier than Earthrise Optimus Prime right there. And here he is with Laser Optimus Prime right there. And you can see he is basically the same size aside from the shoulder pauldrons. So there you have that. They look great together. And here he is with some Legacy Voyagers, Bulkhead and G-Axis right there. So you can see how he scales with Voyagers of the same line. Absolutely fantastic. Loving this line, man. It's so very good. So there you have that. And for one more comparison, of course, here he is with his teammates, Dragstrip. So there is our lineup so far. Like I said, I'm sure some people probably have Wild Rider, but I still can't find him. So this is the team so far. So there you have your comparisons.
Now, if you want to, you can take the trailer, you can disassemble it, and you can make some form of a base mode out of it. It looks fucking stupid. I haven't done it a single time. It's just stupid, and I'm not gonna waste your time because I don't care about it, you don't care about it, and if you really do, there's plenty of other reviews on YouTube. I'm not gonna waste your time and make this video longer than it already is going to be by showcasing the dumbass shoehorned in base mode. So yeah, there is that. Let's go ahead and move into the main event. I'm sure a lot of people are most excited about with this figure, but really, like, you should be excited for the Motormaster figure because this thing is absolutely fantastic. But we are just gonna go ahead and move in to the fully combined mode. We're going to...
Alright, now for the combined mode, this is so much fun to do. So first thing you want to do is you want to fold the hands in to Motormaster just like that. You want to take the backpack piece, untap it, fold it to the back, and then you want to bring it down, and you just want to get it collapsed in and tap it in place just like that. Now we can come to the back here. You want to take Motormaster's head, pull it down just like this, and then you can come in here and you can pop out the Menasor head and it kind of unfold on like a little double joint right there. Bring that up and then fold the head in and do that, and you can absolutely have this, and this is glorious. Like, do I even need to point this out? And you do have to rotate the legs around, so let's do that real quick. So you can just see this, you can pull the hands back out, and yeah, that is amazing. And then of course you want to fold the horns up just like that. They had to have done this on purpose. Like, this is too perfect. So anyway, you want to bring these pieces up on these little pieces right here, do that on this side as well, and then you want to bring them forward, and these will actually untab from a little armature piece that will just fold forward just like that. Now we want to come down to the legs, and we need to flip them back around to where the pin is facing forward. So we just want to do that. A little bit more difficult since you don't have as much clearance as you do for the other two modes. You just want to do that super easy though, and then you want to rotate them this way just like this. You want to untab the back piece from here, and then you want to collapse this piece into the leg just like that, and then fold that piece back down, bring it up, and you have a slot right there that's going to go into a tab right there. Now you can see it, but you'll just have to take my word for it and hear the click right there. So there you go, and pop this out from there, and collapse the leg in, fold that back down, bring it up, and tab it in place right there. So you have that, and then you want to untab this piece, bring this down, and slot that in right there. Same on this side, bring that down, slot that in right there. Come back here, make sure that's folded down, and you want to fold the arms in, and you have a tab and a slot right there that's going to tab into right there. Same thing on this side, and you have that. And lastly, you want to take the feet, and these fold down, and you have a tab right there that you're just going to slot into right there. I'm definitely going to mess with the lighting in the editing for this review, so hopefully make this a little bit more easily seen, but there you have the torso. Now for the trailer, and this thing is so much fun and so much easier to record, thank God. The first thing you want to do is you want to break this thing in half right there. We can pop the sword out from there. We're going to set this piece off to the side, and we're going to focus on this piece. So we're going to take this, and we're going to separate this. This is going to be the legs, and this is going to be the arms. We're going to do the legs first. So we're going to untap this right here. This is his gun. We're going to set this off to the side, and we have these pieces. Now we have this one right here, and what we want to do is we want to untap this piece, bring this down, and then fold this piece out, just like that, and then fold this piece up. And then you have one leg, and you want to do the same thing on this side, so fold that up, bring that down, and that piece like that, and you have the legs all done. And then we want to do the arms. You want to bring the arms in, you want to unfold that, and on this side, I believe, yeah, so this side, you want to fold this piece down, bring the wheel out, and then you want to break it down and break it back up just like that on both sides, just like that, and then bring these pieces and accordion them in, get that rotated to the downside right there, and the same thing right there, and then you have one arm all done. And then for this one, we're actually going to show off how the Automorph feature works, because it's super, super cool. So take your drag strip right here, and you want to take him, and you want to get him all lined up just like this, and then you can clip him in just like that. Now, I've actually had a little bit of trouble having this work properly. I found you really have to untap those two leg pieces right there to get this to work properly, but with any luck, you should be able to just break this down, and it will split drag strip right in half, just like that. So that is super, super duper cool, and I imagine Dead End will work the exact same way. So we can finish this off right there, and there we have that. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead and pop him off again, because I just wanted to show how the Automorph feature works, because it's very, very cool. I actually would recommend waiting to combine him all up until we have all of the other Decepticons, or at least Dead End, because if you put him like this, he's going to be leaning to one side, because all the weight is going to be on that one side, and it's not going to look very good, and standing him is going to be very frustrating. So there you have that. And next up, we want to bring this piece in. We want to fold this piece out, and then we want to untab these and unwrap this little present inside, which is very, very cool. And this thing, you can fold this piece up, and I will talk about this more with this, but you can fold this piece up, and then you can take this piece, fold this out, plug that onto here, and this kind of is like a little sentry gun tower that you can use for Motormaster. It's just a fun little thing. It doesn't incorporate into the combined mode, and they needed to do something with this piece, and I think this works pretty well. So we're going to move that aside, and we're going to talk about this piece right here. So we want to fold these pieces up out of these little tabs right there, and then we want to make sure these are nice and straight, and then we want to take this piece, so this will rotate around just like that, rotate the waist around, and we can now combine. So now we take the legs here, and you want to fold them, make sure you have the right orientation, which I don't. You want to have this one on this side, get that slotted into right there. Same thing on this side, just like that. Bring this camera up. Oh my God, he's big. On second thought, he's just gonna have to sit down so I can show this off. So we want to take Motormaster here, and he's gonna slide in to this little bit right here. You have some pegs and you have some various pegs and ports right there, and he's gonna tab in very nice and securely. If I get him in there, I've never done it at this angle before, so there you go. And then you want to fold these pieces up. That's going to lock that in place. And then you also have a little section back here that's going to fold up and tab into a little pike port right there, and that's going to lock all that in place beautifully. And now we can take the arms here. You want to put this arm on this side, and it's just going to go down. You want to make sure you get it tabbed in place. It's going to lock in very securely. And then you want to do the same thing on this side right there. And there we have that. And I can't really stand him up with you being able to see him. So here we go. Take it away, me. Right there. And there we have the incomplete Menasor right there. So we don't have the Stunticons aside from drag strip, so we don't really have the ability to combine him fully. Now, you could throw drag strip on there, but I would honestly recommend you don't do that, because it will weigh him down more on one side, and he won't stand up very well, because I've noticed that if you have drag strip attached to his arm, he does kind of like to lean to this side right there. So I'd recommend just waiting till we have all of the Senticons to fully combine him into the fully Menasor. But this is what you can do at the moment, and I really, really think they did a great job with this. However, one thing I have to say that I do not like about this figure is just one aspect of the legs. Now, this is an extremely expensive Transformer player figure, and for the most part, I think it absolutely lives up to its price. I think it really is worth its price. But this is one thing I dislike. The legs are not perfect. You can see that we actually do have a bit of a weirdness going on with the legs, and it makes standing him up a little bit frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. This is something that I actually was extremely, this is something that I actually really do not like about this figure, is just how difficult it is to have him stand up straight and looking proper. You can see if we plant him down just like that, the legs do look a little bit strange right there. It's not as noticeable since we don't have drag strip on one side, so he's not like leaning to one side, but you can see the legs, they aren't perfect. Like, you can see that one of them is kind of different than the other, and they're not like identical to each other. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully what I'm saying is coming across here on camera. You can just kind of see that there is some abnormalities between these two legs, and they're not absolutely identical, which means standing them up properly is a little bit annoying, but that's just a minor little complaint. And admittedly, once we get the other two Stunticons, and they fill out these legs right here, because of course we have these little panels right here that they showcased in the live stream, you can have those, and that will fill him out a lot more right there. That's gonna look
absolutely fucking phenomenal. So there you have that. I just wanted to show the Menasaur. We will show this much more once we get all of these Stunticons in their form. However, I do actually want to show you disassembling this thing, because it is really fucking fun to disassemble this thing like a puzzle and put it back into the trailer mode. So what you want to do is you want to grab this piece right here like this, and that's going to allow you to pop up the arm just like that, fold out these sections just like this, bring the wheel out, fold the arm up, bring this up and bring that up, bring that up and bring that up, and fold these pieces up just like that, bring the wheel down, and there you have one arm back in its little mode. Do the same thing on this side, so you're in here, bring your finger in, and then just pop that up. A little bit difficult, not gonna lie. You wanna bring that down, bring that up, fold that out, bring that up, just like that. Then we have the other side right there, and then we can take these and we can combine them together just like that. We'll go ahead and do the legs now. You can take these little pieces right here. These allow you to pop the legs right out of there. So you just take your finger, slide that up, and they come right out. You can take the legs here. And for this one, you actually want to flip this piece down first. Fold the head of the foot in, and then you have that. You can go ahead and take the tower, take the gun out, fold this down just like that. And then you can take this and tab this in to the leg right there. There we go. And do the same thing with this leg. So fold that piece down first, bring that down, and that all tabs in place nice and secure. And then we're going to tab that into right there. And then we have that piece. And now we can take these two pieces and these will tab together just like that. So satisfying to do that. And then we take this piece. This is the real reason why I wanted to show you this. So first thing we need to do is we need to detach Motormaster from Menasaur, and that is just undoing all of these clips. He pops right out. And we'll set him off to the side. And we want to take this piece. We want to rotate the waist around, swivel this piece down like that, and then take the legs here, and we have these little pieces that are just going to slot into the leg cavities right there. So just do that, and that's what you want to have, just like that. And now for the fun part, the real reason why I want to show you this is just how cool this part is. So you take it, sorry about that, and you take it and you just want to line it up with this little shape it's got going on right here. That's going to fit right into right there, and it has a little top right there, and then you want to take it and you want to wrap it around just like that. That is so cool. I love the way that works. And then you bring these pieces down and these pieces fold in just like that. That is so much fun to do, so satisfying. I cannot tell you how fun it is to disassemble this combined mode and put it back into the trailer mode. And to finish it off, we just plop that in just like that, and there we go. There you have the trailer fully reassembled into, the combined mode fully reassembled into the trailer. I absolutely love that. Honestly, one of my favorite things about this toy is just combining it and uncombining it, because it's just so much fun. It's like a puzzle, man. Putting this thing back together is just so much fun. So I really wanted to show you that just so you can just get a good sense of how much fucking fun this is to do. So yeah, and of course also we can go ahead, pop the sword into this port right here, and slippy slide that in there. I actually forgot to show the sword in the combined mode, but like I said, it's way too small. I think it really was meant for Motormaster. But there you have that. I'm going to transfer Motormaster back, and we're going to do our final thoughts. Actually, before we get into the final thoughts, I do want to give a couple comparisons in the combined mode as well. So here's those. Now, real quick, before we jump into the final thoughts, I do want to just give a couple quick comparisons in the combined mode here before we get them all finished. I just want to show him with the Commander Class Jetfire, because I really feel like this is meant to be like your Jetfire. You have Jetfire on your Autobot shelf, and he's huge, and he towers over all the others. I really feel like they're trying to make it so like this is what you're going to have for your Decepticon shelf. So you have a big hulking behemoth back there. Very, 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 very cool. So I think they did a great job with scale, because he's pretty much the same size as Commander Class freaking Skyfire. I almost said Skylinks. And I think they work really, really amazing together. And speaking of Skylinks, here is Commander Class Skylinks as well. And oh my goodness gracious, he is so goddamn big. So they have that as well. He's a very difficult one to really get here. There we go. Get him nice and there we go. Hopefully that helps somebody. It is what it is. He's just very big and very hard to get him all in frame here. So yeah, there you have that. And lastly, here he is with Megatron. So there you have your comparisons. Now let's get into the final thoughts on Motormaster. And with that being said, there you have Legacy Motormaster. I think this is pretty easily going to be the best Transformer figure of 2022. I'm not gonna lie. I was really excited to say that Studio Series Galvatron was gonna be my #1 of 2022, but this figure has definitely dethroned that because this is just such an ambitious figure. This figure attempts so many things and does almost all of them with flying colors. Admittedly, the transformation for Motormaster, not what I would call an extremely fun transformation, not a terrible transformation, but not one that I would want to do over and over and over and over and over again on repeat, like some of the other transformations from this year so far. However, this one, transforming this thing back into combined mode and then back into trailer mode, oh my god, you could stick me in a room and give me this thing alone and I would have an absolute fucking blast with it, dude. You could stick me in a room like that fucking episode of Sam and Cat when they get locked in the safe behind the wall in her closet. Just put this in there and I'll be fucking entertained because this thing is just so much fun to transform, rip this thing apart, put it in the combined mode, and then take it apart and put it back into this, man. It's like a puzzle. I fucking love it. This actually is one of the most fun things I have had Transformer-wise all year. It's just so much fun to do this, man. It really fucking is. And then the Motormaster figure itself is absolutely glorious. It fits right in to your G1 Decepticon display. Until we get the rest of the Stunticons, this is probably how I'm going to have him displayed. I'm going to have him like that, and I'm going to have the trailer in the back there with some boys on top of it like I showed earlier in the video. That's just how I'm going to do it. I might at some point end up putting him in the combined mode. It's my collection. I can do whatever the fuck I want, so... but yeah, can't wait to get the rest of the Stunticons to finish it up. I'm sure it'll be an absolute glorious combiner when I get it. Most likely will probably be my favorite combiner of all time, honestly, because I don't have many combiners and I don't have many fond memories of combiners when I had them as a kid. The only other ones I have are Combiner Wars Devastator, which is a decent figure, don't get me wrong, and the Studio Series Devastator, which is incomplete because I could never ever fucking get long haul. But yeah, and that one was good as well, but he had the combiner problem that I was talking about earlier where he felt very floppy and felt like he was going to constantly try and fall apart. This guy does not feel like that even remotely. He locks together. He basically becomes like a Skyfire Transformer when you lock him together. It doesn't feel like he will come apart at all until you actually want to take him apart, until you want to remove all of his pieces. So yeah, I think this release is just absolutely fucking phenomenal. I really have almost no issues with it whatsoever aside from the transformation on Motormaster and these fucking wheels. These are so goddamn obnoxious. But aside from that, those tiny little issues, this is such a glorious figure. I cannot recommend it enough. I honestly can't. And I wish you the best of luck in getting it. It actually doesn't seem anywhere near as hard as I was expecting it to be to get. I pre-ordered this immediately because I knew I wanted it so badly, and I knew it was going to be so difficult. I had such a hard time getting Rodimus last year, and plus with how Transformers are boxed these days, it's, you know, figure swapping is also a thing. So I really, really, really wish you luck in getting one of these for yourself if you want one. And I will also show. I think I still have the box. I will also show that when I got this from Amazon, mine was caved in. There was nothing else in the box. I really don't care about this because I just throw the boxes in the trash anyway. I don't care. I am going to cut this Legacy logo out first though. Because I like it. But yeah, this was like that right thing. You can see I opened it. Normally, I opened it like a human would open it. So this was not me. This was caved in like this. I was a little bit scared when I got this and I saw this cave in, but it was totally fine. The figure's absolutely perfect. No issues whatsoever. No QC problems whatsoever. So yeah, I did want to say that. I just thought I'd bring it up real quick. I really don't care. Like, it doesn't affect my opinion of this figure whatsoever. I don't give a shit about cardboard. It just goes in the trash along with the instructions, just as useless. So yeah, but there you have it. This is an S+, 100%, no questions asked. This is definitely, probably my favorite Transformer figure of 2022 and 2021 combined, honestly. It's really fucking glorious. Hasbro really nailed it with this thing just as much as I was hoping they would. This is one of those Transformers that is going to go down in history, man, as the first really, really fucking phenomenal combiner that tries to do so many things. Like, we've had combiners in the past, Combiner Wars, but ask anybody who had those Combiner Wars figures, you can't really take my word for it because I've never had a single one of those because I thought they looked really bad, but you can ask, but I guarantee you ask someone who had those combiners and they will tell you they flop, they fall apart, they don't look very good, the individual robots are crap, they're so inhibited by the gimmick to combine. This set right here, I can't believe it's real. This Motormaster is absolutely phenomenal and perfectly combines into Menasor. This drag strip is absolutely phenomenal, feels great. I think Wild Rider will probably end up being a bit of a downgrade between these two. He definitely doesn't look anywhere near as good as these. And Dead End, I think, also doesn't look anywhere near as good as these two, but obviously I'll be picking them up so I can finish the combiner. Yeah, I think this is probably going to go down in history as probably the best combiner that Hasbro has ever made. So yeah, there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. This was a bit sloppy, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope the video ends up being being fun to watch because, yeah, this was very different video from what I usually do. I usually like to start in robot mode and go from there, but with this guy, he came in vehicle mode, so I felt the need to do that, even though also Laser Prime came in vehicle mode and I did him in robot mode, but yeah. Although I don't think that review will be up by the time I put this up, so yeah. Okay, but there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and this is DK Guillotine. Signing out.